breathe, and listen with the quiet part of your mind. Because the insight we are about to explore together could profoundly steady your path through life. It could protect the garden of your relationships, the structure of your work, and the inner peace you hold most dear. At this very moment, there are individuals in your life whose spirits are veiled. They wear beautifully crafted masks, concealing a deep inner turmoil. They offer you a welcoming smile. They extend a hand in friendship. They may even speak words of deep affection, but behind the warmth of their eyes lies a current of intention that would quiet your heart if you could perceive its true nature. I invite you to consider a fundamental truth about our human journey, one that many only recognize in the wake of a storm. Inner disharmony does not arrive like thunder and lightning. In our world, the most unsettling energies are subtle. They are refined, and their influence is so powerful precisely because they appear so ordinary, so kind, so worthy of your trust. The most significant challenges to your spirit will not come from those who appear formidable. They will flow from those who make you feel utterly at ease, while their presence subtly redirects the course of your life. Ancient wisdom teaches us that to see clearly, we must first find our stillness. I have spent a lifetime observing the flow of human energy, noticing the subtle currents that reveal the true nature of a person's heart. I have witnessed centered individuals lose their balance through entanglements with charming but chaotic spirits. I have seen the bonds of family strained by those who sow seeds of discord, while appearing as bringers of peace. I have observed paths of purpose become overgrown with confusion by companions who offer encouragement while quietly undermining the foundation. And through this quiet observation, a pattern emerges. It is a profound insight that will transform how you perceive the world. There are identifiable currents, subtle signals that flow from these individuals. They are not chaotic. They are not without form. They follow a deep, underlying pattern that, once you understand it, becomes as clear as the path of a river. Today, my purpose is to share this understanding with you. I will offer you a lens to see these patterns, to recognize the signals, and to protect your own inner peace before you are swept into a current not of your own making. First, consider the art of the first impression. Those who carry deep inner conflict are often masters of creating an initial sense of perfect harmony. They understand precisely how to present themselves to gain your immediate trust. When you meet someone and the connection feels almost magical, when their charm is like a gentle, warming light, when they seem to understand the depths of your being from the very first moment, this is not always a sign of destiny. It is often a signal to pause and observe more deeply. Think on this. A genuine spirit has texture. It has imperfections. It has moments of uncertainty. It does not instantly know the exact words your heart longs to hear. But a spirit driven by a deep need has studied the human heart. They have practiced their approach. They know how to become a mirror for your own energy, to reflect your own deepest values back at you, to create the feeling that you have finally found a soul who truly sees you. This pattern is like a recurring tide. The person who instantly becomes your closest confidant, who mirrors your passions with remarkable precision, who aligns with your every thought, who makes you feel as though you are the center of their universe. This is not a simple meeting of minds. This is a carefully constructed resonance. This is an energy that senses what you are seeking and then transforms itself into that very form. But here is the subtle truth that is often missed. While you are warmed by their light, you may fail to notice the shadows. Pay close attention to what these individuals do not reveal. Notice how the river of conversation always flows back toward you or to the subjects they wish to explore. Observe how they navigate away from personal questions with grace and humor. See how they seldom reveal their own true difficulties, their own authentic vulnerabilities. An authentic spirit shares its journey, the falls as much as the triumphs. They speak of their uncertainties, their failures, their quiet concerns. They do not present a facade of having conquered life, but a fractured spirit must maintain this image of strength and control, because to be vulnerable would be to let the mask slip. They cannot allow you to see what lies behind the curtain, for the landscape there is one they themselves cannot face. The second profound signal is how they engage with those who hold no value for their goals. This is perhaps the most reliable mirror of a person's inner state you will ever find. Observe with care how an individual treats service staff, their juniors, those who are facing hardship, or anyone who can offer them nothing in return. The veil thins when there is no audience that serves their deeper intention. You may see a person show profound deference to their superiors while offering coldness to the person cleaning the room. You may watch someone express immense affection to a partner in public while being dismissive of their own family in private. You might see a person celebrated for their public acts of charity while their own team is treated with a lack of dignity. This is not a contradiction in their nature. It is the nature itself. The true current of a person's spirit is revealed in how they navigate the small streams when they believe no one of consequence is watching, when kindness is offered only to those who can propel them forward, when respect is shown only to those in seats of power, when compassion is displayed only when it burnishes their own image. You are witnessing a soul who sees human connection as a series of transactions, not a sacred bond. And it goes deeper than mere rudeness. Observe if there is a subtle energy of satisfaction when others face challenges. Notice if the struggles of others seem to enliven them. See if their offers of help truly empower, or if they create a subtle state of dependence. Ask if their assistance comes with unspoken conditions or leaves you feeling indebted. Genuine kindness is a spring that gives freely, without need for recognition, and often flows in unseen places. Manipulated kindness is a calculated investment, a public performance that always serves the giver more than the receiver. Learning to feel the difference between these two currents will shield you from countless heartaches. The third pattern to recognize is their relationship with what is true. For those in inner turmoil, truth is not a foundation, it is a tool. For you, truth is likely the ground upon which you build your life. You may not always speak it perfectly, but you hold an innate understanding that honesty is the bedrock of trust. For them, truth is fluid. It is something to be used when it is convenient and set aside when it is not. They will weave threads of truth and untruth together so skillfully that you find yourself embracing the entire fabric. They will share their emotional truths with you, which feel real, while being dishonest about their actions. They will be candid about small matters to win your trust for larger deceptions. But here is what to observe. Notice if their stories shift like sand with each telling. Pay attention to whether the details remain constant. See if their explanations feel logical on the surface, but leave a quiet sense of unease in your spirit when you reflect on them later. Observe if they recall what they have told you, or if they sometimes flow in a different direction, contradicting what was said before. More importantly, observe their reaction when these inconsistencies are gently brought to light. A person of integrity may feel a moment of embarrassment. They will clarify. They will correct themselves. They will show a natural discomfort. But a spirit in turmoil will either become a storm of anger that you noticed, blame you for a misunderstanding, or smoothly create a new version of the story, ignoring the discrepancy. They are also masters of creating what we might call a fog of complexity. They will give you information that is technically correct, but profoundly misleading. They will answer questions you did not ask while flowing around the ones you did. They will flood you with a river of irrelevant details to distract from a significant emptiness. They create such tangled narratives that you simply let go, exhausted from trying to find the clear stream of truth. The fourth characteristic is their orientation toward your boundaries. A balanced spirit respects the boundaries of others, even when they are not to their liking. They may be disappointed if you say no. They may seek to understand your perspective, but they ultimately honor your space and do not create a consequence for it. A person with a chaotic inner world sees your boundaries not as a line to be respected, but as a barrier to be dissolved. They experience your no as the beginning of a negotiation, not as a clear statement. They will gently push, test, and erode your resolve until you concede. They will then have learned that your boundaries are permeable, and the pressure will increase in the future. Observe how someone responds the very first time you establish a clear boundary with them. Do they receive it with grace? Do they seek to understand and then honor your wish? Or do they immediately start searching for a way around it? Do they cause you to feel a sense of guilt for holding your ground? Do they suggest your boundary is unfair or a sign that you do not trust them? Pay special attention to how they receive the word no. For some, the word no is psychologically unbearable. They perceive it as a personal rejection, a challenge to their sense of control, or an obstacle to be overcome rather than a preference to be honored. These individuals will create constant turbulence in your life because they will never cease their attempts to override your own sovereignty. But boundaries extend beyond major decisions. Observe their approach to smaller boundaries. If you express a wish not to discuss a certain topic, do they honor that, or do they repeatedly steer the conversation back? If you state that you need space or time, do they acknowledge it, or do they continue to place demands upon you? If you share a feeling of discomfort, do they adjust their approach or simply dismiss your feeling? The pattern is a consistent disregard for your sacred right to govern your own inner and outer world. One who cannot honor a small boundary will not honor a large one. One who repeatedly pushes against your sense of ease is showing you that your inner peace is not their priority. The fifth indicator is their deep need for control. We all desire a sense of agency over our own lives. This is natural and healthy. But a person in deep turmoil feels a compulsive need to control not just their own path, but the paths of those around them. They seek to know your whereabouts, your companions, your activities. They feel they should have a voice in your choices, even those that do not concern them. They have strong views on your attire, your friendships, your work, your family connections. This control is often presented as deep care, as love, as concern for your well-being. But its root is a need to manage every variable, to calm their own inner chaos by controlling the outer world. Watch for the subtle ways they may try to isolate you from your other connections. They might offer gentle criticisms of your friends, suggesting they are not a positive influence. They might discourage you from pursuits that require your time and energy away from them. They might create a subtle friction around events where they are not the center. They may cause you to feel guilty for nourishing relationships that exist outside of their sphere of influence. Notice if they seem aware of things about you that you do not recall sharing. Pay attention if they bring up private matters you discussed with others. Observe if there is an unusual interest in your private messages or your personal space. These are not currents of love. They are signs of a spirit that views you as an extension of itself. This need for control also makes them unable to flow with uncertainty. They need to know the outcome before the journey begins. They plan every detail, and they expect you to conform to this rigid structure, becoming distressed by your spontaneity or autonomy. As we journey through these observations, you may feel a deep resonance, a sense of recognition within you. This is the path of awareness unfolding. If you feel drawn to explore these currents more deeply with a community of fellow travelers, I invite you to subscribe, to join our shared space of learning. By liking and sharing this reflection, you help expand this circle of clarity for others. The sixth pattern is their conduct in moments of conflict and accountability. A healthy individual may not enjoy conflict, but they can enter it with integrity when necessary. They have the strength to admit when they are wrong. They can offer a genuine apology. They can hold a difficult conversation and work toward a place of greater understanding. A person in inner turmoil cannot bear to be wrong, to be criticized, or to be seen as accountable for their actions. They will navigate with incredible skill to avoid taking responsibility for any negative outcome. When faced with their mistakes, they become masters of diversion. They will turn the flow of the conversation back onto you. You will find yourself defending your own actions instead of discussing theirs. They will bring up your past imperfections to distract from their present ones. They will claim that you are being overly sensitive or demanding. They will reshape the past to cast themselves as the one who was wronged in a situation they themselves created. Observe how such a person handles even the smallest correction. If you point out a simple error, do they receive it with thanks? Or does their energy become defensive? If you express that you were hurt by something they did, do they show immediate concern for your heart? Or do they immediately explain why your feelings are not valid? Pay very close attention to their apologies, if one is ever offered. A true apology is an act of humility. It acknowledges the action, expresses sincere regret, and embodies a commitment to change. A false apology is a tool to end the conversation. It will sound like, "I am sorry that you feel that way," or "I regret if my actions caused you pain," or "I am sorry, but you must see my side." These are not bridges of connection, they are walls. The seventh characteristic is their connection to empathy. This may be the most vital signal of all. Empathy is the ability to feel with another person. It is the invisible thread that weaves us together, that creates the foundation for all true connection. Some who are deeply troubled have no access to empathy. They simply cannot perceive why the feelings of another should be of any consequence to them. Others have a form of mental empathy. They can understand intellectually how you might feel, but they do not feel it with you. They use this understanding not to connect, but to more effectively navigate a situation to their benefit. Many have what you might call selective empathy. They can feel profoundly for those they see as part of themselves, or for those whose suffering aligns with their own story, but they remain cold to anyone they perceive as other, as a threat, or as irrelevant to their purpose. Observe how someone